Hey guys, welcome to a new review. This time I'm going to be reviewing the new episode of The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 9, No Way Out. Now I just gotta say right now, this was probably the best episode I've ever seen of The Walking Dead, probably of any show ever. Now, I thought Season 6, Episode 2 was the best, then I thought this mid-season finale was great, but then this new episode just outdoes them all. It outdoes every other episode. It's ridiculous. It's definitely, if you have to pick one episode to watch, this is the new episode. If you are trying to get a friend into The Walking Dead, tell them about this episode. Perhaps show them a few scenes of it, and they'll immediately know that this show is for them. Because this made the season the best season. It was, if it had a bad startup here, it would just be an okayish, pretty good season. But this episode here, I think, just made this the best season of probably any show I've ever seen. And I am just shocked. I'm so glad that they did it this way. And it did kind of follow the comics, and we'll get into that in a second. But I also want to say all my predictions were way off. I sort of predicted that there wouldn't be any real main character deaths, probably just Sam, and I don't really consider him a main character. I don't consider Ron a main character either, but in this episode we got 3 characters dying. I think that's enough to classify as a main character death, having Jesse killed Ron and Sam. And I think those are the only characters that they killed off in this episode, other than like the wolf. I didn't predict that the wolf would die. I just got this feeling that he would be a problem for the next episode. I don't know how the next episode will take up after this. They must start having trouble with the Saviors. I believe that's Negan's group. In the next episode and the episodes after that. Because now it seems like their walker threat is down. Now all they have to do is rebuild and start over again. And it's kind of, I would say it's a depressing episode, but it's just got so much awesomeness to it. It outweighs all and any depressing part of it. I mean, we've had deaths in this episode that should have left me just feeling like, what a suck episode. But it was done so well, in a way that was so fast-paced and action-filled, that I was just like, well shoot, they're dead, but I think it's kind of worth it for having that episode the way it was. If I could change anything in this episode, I don't think there's really anything that I could think of to change. I mean, maybe like have a little less of Carol seeming like she's regretful over her opinions and stuff, over her decisions, that's it. But other than that, this episode was outstanding, spectacular. Now, I'm going to need a little reminder here for all the stuff. Okay, so when you start out the episode, you see Daryl, and they're in that position that they were in the mid-season finale, but it moves through it real fast. So the guy's mouthing off to them, he takes their guns, then he sends Daryl back to the truck to see if there's anything back there, and he sends one guy with Daryl. Now, for me, I just assumed that Daryl would F it up, because Daryl wouldn't be able to take the guy, because anytime we've seen Daryl fight in this show, think about it. I mean, like, in Season 1, Daryl was fighting that Vatos kid, I think it was, yeah, from the gang that they had. And he got his butt kicked, and then we see him fight those guys, the Claimer, Joe guys, and he got his butt kicked there. So I just haven't seen him fight and successfully win. But he goes back there, takes the guy out, gets stabbed a little, or cut, but he gets the RPG, all of which we don't see, and it's just a big shocker when you see the boom. He just takes out the entire biker gang. That was unexpected-ish, because I could tell as soon as the guy was sitting in the bike and he goes, "I'm not going to kill you." And then he says, "Wait." I said, "Oh, okay." So he's going to say, I changed my mind, I am going to kill you. And then something's going to happen. I assumed something, maybe another person would come out and kill him. Maybe that's how we would find Jesus or something. But no, I think it was done best this way, where Daryl just comes out and blows the crap out of them, kills each and every one, and then as they're heading back to the car to take off. Abraham looks at the guy's head and says something that the guy said to him. It was a jokey type thing that the guy said, and it was really funny, but I can't quite remember it, so I'm just going to not take a shot at that. Shut up, cat. Scat. Okay. So, I'm just going to be talking about specific scenes here. I'm not going to really put these in order because everything was intercut between each other. It would be like trying to describe the, what's it called? That Star Wars movie, Phantom Menace, that last battle scene, trying to put everything together where it was this person's fighting over here and then these people over here, and you can't do that. So, I'm going to start out by talking about Rick's little area here. Rick, Michonne, Carl, Ron, Sam, Jesse, and Gabriel and Judith are all heading out through the walker crowd covered in the guts. Now, we did not see Deanna. We did not see Deanna as a zombie, like some people had predicted. That did not happen. But anyway, it seems like where we left off when he was saying, Mom, 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 that crap, I guess that didn't really get them in trouble. And it kind of almost seems like it didn't even happen, but I don't know. But that was to leave us suspenseful for the new episodes and sort of give us an idea of what's going to happen to Sam. But, yeah, that had nothing, it didn't cause an impact, so we see them walking around, and then Father Gabriel takes Judith to the church. They send Father Gabriel off to the church, and I just love it. Father Gabriel is now one of my more liked characters. He's proven to be redeemable. Now, what he's done in the past is shady and bad, but he's not Morgan. He hasn't done stuff that you can't come back from. He's a good guy. He's just been cowardly, and now he's proving not to be a coward. He's showing that through his faith, he is a brave person. And I like that. That's a nice touch, and you have a character like that. I hope that he lives like in the comics. I believe he's still around, so I want that, because he seems like he's cool. And if you've seen Starship Troopers, he's actually in that. But anyway, then as they're walking, they wanted Sam to go with Father Gabriel, but the little brat was like, no, I want to stay with you, Mom. Please, please, Mom, let me stay with you, Mom. Okay, we'll let you come with us. And of course, that becomes a problem because as they're walking, it's getting dark. He's looking around, seeing all these walkers' faces. Then something happened. We hear Carol's voice where she was talking about threatening him about he would wake up and walkers would be surrounding him or monsters, and they would tear into him. And that's just telling me that the writers are angry at Carol right now. I don't like that. Yes, she did do that, but I don't really think that the main reason here that he's freaking out is just because of what she told him all that way back. That didn't seem to damage him that much, but whatever. Anyway, I think the kid would be a little wimp in this position anyway, so there wouldn't really be a need to have that playing over, but it's their decision. And because of that, a lot of people are now coming out saying they hate Carol. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. I really like Carol still. She helped everyone at Terminus. She's still, like, my second favorite character. I don't know why everyone's so angry at her, but yeah. He freaks out and he starts being like, Mom, I don't know what's going on. Wimpy, whiny voice. And then, out of nowhere, it's just walkers, start tearing him. And it's not just where, like, you see arms go around him and pull him down, you see nothing. You see them biting into his face and stuff. You kind of see what his mom is seeing. And it really makes sense when you see her just going like, ah! And it's silent, of course, so you don't actually hear her screaming. But as soon as I see that, I'm like, oh no, now Jesse's gonna die. I was shocked when I saw Sam getting bitten. I was like, oh my gosh. I figured there would be some sort of warning before this happened, but just out of nowhere, man. And then the mom, it kind of took away the sadness of her because of all the shock that was going on. So I think I have like PTSD from the episode here. Okay, they take her down, and she's still holding on to Carl's hand. So this is actually almost exactly like it happened in the comics so far. And she's holding on to his hand, and Rick is just seeing like flashes of her throughout the time that he's known her, just like a few picture flashes of her face, and it's like really sad. It's like he's losing his love all over again, and then he has to chop off her hand because she's still holding on to Carl with a death grip while they're mauling on her, and gladly I don't think she was alive, or she was in too much shock to know what was happening when he had to chop her hand off. So Rick chops the hand off with about 3 swipes. In the comics, I'm not sure, but I think it just like cut off with the first strike. But more realistically, when a hand is like that and you're doing that, it wouldn't come off immediately. So anyway, he cuts her hand off, and then Carl goes falling back, and his gun falls, and Ron picks it up. Ron then points it at Carl and Rick, who are standing over here, and that's where things just, the crap is already hitting the fan, so you think it can't get worse, but the crap's hitting the fan massively now, because he's pointing the gun at them, and he's about to, his mom died, his brother died, and his dad is dead, and he thinks it's all the fault of Rick and Carl, so you gotta kind of understand the kid's position, even though we all hate him, and I'm so glad what happens to him. He gets stabbed through, like, right around this area by Michonne, but unfortunately, I kind of wish she cut off his hand or sliced his head off or something, because the gun goes off because of the strike not killing him immediately, and he shoots Carl in the eye. And we don't see it immediately. It's like, bam, he goes down. But I knew what happened as soon as I saw that, because I was like, oh my gosh, they're actually going to do it. And then they show it, and it's like, they did it. They did it. And Carl's eye is just gone. It's gory mess, this eye, I think. And it's just chunks all off. It's horrifying. Ugh. It's really, really terrifying. And it looks worse when it's first shot than later on when you see them, like, bandaging it up and stuff, suturing it. Because I guess they wanted to shock you initially here, like in the comics. It doesn't look as bad later on as it did in that initial missing chunks part. Because it seems like he would be dead from such a hole, but maybe it was just like a glancing hit and took out this side. Yeah, that seems more like it. But I'm so glad that happened. And I can't wait for a 5-inch action figure of him with his eye gone. Oh, no, wait. They canceled the 5-inch action figure line. Whatever. 7-inch figures will probably have them. Anyway. And that is really cool, because that's making me a little more revved up for them running into Negan, and Negan making so many comments about Carl's missing eye. Anyway. Moving back on. Rick picks up Carl laying on the ground, and of course it's exactly like in the comics, I believe, where he looks up and he's got the missing eye and he says, "Dad," and then falls over. So Rick goes running off with him, and they head to the infirmary. Now what happens intercut between this is we see what's going on with Denise. And Denise and the wolf are still walking around and stuff, and he's like, wants her to be like him, is what he's saying and stuff. He wants to teach her the ways of survival. And that is weird. It kind of, the way he acts throughout the episode, it kind of has conflicting parts of him, and it seems like they're trying to make it seem like he could have been a good guy if he were to live, but he wouldn't. This guy is really evil and nuts. You can't just change him by having him locked up in a room and have Morgan talk to him every now and then. And that's what they're trying to make it seem like he was changing. I don't like that. That's kind of conflicting with how they've been going throughout the entire show, where they just have these guys who turn bad, and it doesn't seem like there's a way out. Like, the governor, it seemed like he was getting better, but he just goes right back to it. It's like you become what is inside of you. Rick has always been good, so he's good throughout, but then the governor was a bad person, but then that didn't come out until the apocalypse, so whatever. Let's see, anyway, they have their own little story where they're just running around and doing stuff, and he, kind of saves her at one point. He kills a walker that grabs her, because she keeps running into walkers, right into their arms. It's not like evade and then they grab at you. It's like run into their arms and they grab you. So she's not very good at survival in any sort. That's why she is not a very good Alexandrian when it comes toward that sort of survival, but her being a doctor, she is still useful. And they have their own little story arc that's kind of meh. It's supposed to like develop their characters, which doesn't matter much for him, but I guess matters for her a little. And then we get her death. His death. If she died, that would be shocking, but no. He gets bitten, and then he gets shot by Carol, and he kind of has sort of a moment where he does something good right before he's about to die. He grabs a walker that's going for Denise and says, "Go, go," and they just tear at him. So it's kind of like T-Dog's death in a way. And again, it seems like they're trying to make him redeemable, and then Carol seems like she's questioning what she just did about shooting him, because it's like, well, I'll be darned, maybe he is a good person. Come on, guys. That's not the writing that I prefer, but this episode is so good, I can't really nitpick that right now. It's just really good. So, and then intercut between that, we have what happened with Rosita, Eugene, Tara, and then Morgan and Carol too. And I was kind of hoping that when they woke up they would be yelling and more fighting of some sort, but it's just like very slow paced right there, which I can understand because they're trying to kind of wrap up everything that happened in the previous episode in this episode here, which is shocking. I kind of thought they would just like do what they've done before, where they follow one person's story, one little group story, and then another group story, but they're all like wrapping it up right here. And yeah, they talk to each other, Morgan and Carol tells him that she should have killed him because of what he did, and if he wanted to, if he was doing it, if he was saving the wolf for the safety of the Alexandrian people, then he wouldn't have kept it a secret and something like that. And she's right. Whatever she said there, I can't quote it specifically, but it was right. And she should have killed Morgan. That would have been great. But I think Morgan's being spared for, Negan's back. Batter up. Take off the head right clean off. That's what I'm hoping for, guys. I would not want to see Daryl because Daryl died, because Daryl is so awesome at this point. He's just redeemed himself from being a boring character, and he's doing so many cool things in this episode. And I wouldn't want to see Glenn die. I would be okay with pretty much any other side character, like if it was Spencer, but I don't think they would do that. They're going for Negan will kill someone important, and I think Morgan is that perfect character to kill off. Anyway, so their stories are pretty dull, Morgan and Carol's and the wolf and the other chick, but those are just quickly intercut between all the awesomeness that's happening. We have, Glenn. Glenn has to save Maggie, and she's like still up on that tower thing, and the walkers are thrashing at, and it's wiggling around. So Glenn talks to, Enid for a little while. They search around for weapons to help Maggie, and then they finally get out there to help Maggie, and it's just like, there's no way. When I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, how are they gonna become human tanks and just plow through? No. But they sort of find a way. Enid goes up on the wall, has Maggie, I don't actually think Enid did anything, did she? She just, goes there and stands on the tower with her. I figured that she would have Maggie get up on the wall and climb with her, but she's just, standing there. But anyway, Glenn distracts the crowd of walkers there underneath Maggie, and he's like, bring him over here. And right at that moment, the suspense was hitting us all. We all just assumed, it was like, are they really going to kill off Glenn after all that? Now, I got the feeling that they wouldn't because of what they put us through with him previously, but everyone else in my family was just like, some of them on the verge of tears, all of them yelling, no, no, no. And it was just like the Super Bowl when your team is running it close and something's about to happen, and it's something just amazing happens right there. Sasha and Abraham start gunning out the walkers. They're heading very close to Glenn, and it was totally, if they weren't there right then, Glenn would be dead, because he's using his pistol, then it's empty, and then he's just whacking zombies over the head, and he's like, he was ready to die for Maggie. That ought to win him some points with the old lady. But, yeah, that was high tension right there. I just did not see a way out for him. I was like, they won't kill him, but how is he going to survive? I just didn't assume for some reason that Daryl would get there. I forgot about them because they weren't there for so long. And anyway, Daryl at some point concocts a plan to like pour out the gas that's inside of that truck that they had into this water system, and then shoot it with the RPG and cause a huge fire to distract all the walkers towards that. But that's because he wanted them to be distracted from the people who were killing them. So what happened is Rick finally, after he gets to the infirmary, that's it. After he gets there, which Denise got there just in time to be there and ready for Carl when she sees Rick running up with Carl. She has Heath and Spencer grabbing stuff for her to get ready, and it just goes down right there. Brings him up, and then Rick gets so pissed off he leaves and starts whacking the crap out of walkers. And he must have killed like at least 60 walkers in this episode, where he's just like slash, smash, smash, slash, trip, click, throw. It was amazing. Rick is the ultimate zombie slayer. I would rather have him on my side than a tank. It's just that this episode was so good, and then this ending was so epic and fun. It left me on the edge of my seat. I was like, ooh, what's going to happen next? And so while she's doing surgery on Carl and she needs Michonne there, Michonne seems to show more emotion than we've seen her show before. Like, we saw her cry when Andrea died, but before that, we've seen her just like laugh a little and stuff. She tends to be the more monosyllabic person, but this time she's like completely upset because Rick's out there and he could die, and poor Carl's here and he's shot. It's like high tension everywhere, and she wants to go help Rick, but Denise needed her there, so as soon as she was ready to go, she just says, I'm going. She gave Carl a little kiss on the forehead because they're friends now, and rushes out there to help. And then just as they're out there, more people start joining them from Alexandria. And then Gabriel, out in his church, he's talking to his people, and he proves that he's no longer a wimp when he just says, God, we've been praying to God to help us, and God has. He has given us the bravery to go out there and help ourselves. And that is awesome. He goes out there with that one machete, and he just starts killing walkers by the ton. I told you guys. Now, some people, I post my videos on Facebook and on sites so that people will get to know me better and see my videos, but some people commented on that, on my previous review of an episode, so the last mid-season finale, and people were commenting that because I said I like Gabriel now, I'm such an idiot because he's not, just because he helped once doesn't mean he's useful. It's just this and that, and oh, come on, guys, he's redeeming himself here. Give him a chance. And now he's proving, right now, he's totally redeemed by me. I mean, he's redeemed himself back when he became useful, and now he's just getting more and more useful, and I like that. I like the development of his character. Well done, writers, well done. Especially since he was so loathsome at first. It was like, who could like this guy? I know some people like him, but boy. But now he's cool. Awesome. Anyway, back to the main stuff. So, all the Alexandrians get out there and they're killing walkers, and the walkers are sort of overpowering them, because there's so many. There's got to be at least 1,000. And Daryl's distraction makes the walkers like turn the other way, which keeps it lessens the amount of push that there is on the walkers. And I think like our Alexandrians took out like all of the walkers, or at least most of them, right there. So then later, at the end of the episode, we see Rick sitting there talking to Carl as he's unconscious on the table. He's all teary-eyed, and I don't remember his conversation. I don't know if it's important, but please tell me if it was. I've only watched the episode once, and it was a couple of hours ago, back at 2 o'clock in the morning. And Carl, as he's talking to Carl, Carl slowly squeezes his hand, and then the episode ends, I believe, and that was a very emotional episode, very fun, and I'm so sad that Jesse is dead, but que sera, sera. And I'd also like to point out that if they're following the comics, in the comics right at this point, Rick and Andrea hooked up. So is Rick going to hook up with any of the characters there? It seems like maybe Rick and Michonne, because they've always been like friends, so it's possible, but maybe not. Some people think Sasha is Andrea, so maybe that, but she seems to like Abraham right now, so, and they've never even seemed to have talked, Rick and Sasha, so maybe there'll be no romance for Rick at this point, because every girl that he gets close to dies. Only 2 girls, but that's still a lot to die in like the 2 years that Walking Dead is supposed to have gone on. Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Do you think it's going to be a Rishon thing? I think that's what they're calling it. Or is it Mick? No, I'm pretty sure it's Rishon. Okay. Tell me if you guys think there's a romance sparking there somewhere. Tell me if you think it's going to go at all like the comics after this, or anything like that. And make sure to comment a question that's TWD related, and I will answer your question in a video that I will do later. Maybe Saturday like I usually do, or maybe earlier if I have the time. Anyway, make sure to comment, and I will answer it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being Walking Dead fans, because every Walking Dead fan helps. And make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I love you all. Peace.